Bonjour! Today I'm going to talk to you guys about how to use prepositions of time. So otherwise you can call them temporal prepositions. There's all kinds of prepositions in French. Sometimes we talk about prepositions of place, etc. Today it's prepositions of time. So there are 5 that we're going to talk about today. I'm going to go through the rules with you and they're written down on the board behind me. So if you need to pause the video, something like that, take some notes because I'm going to keep this short and sweet, and after I go through the rules with you for each of the 5 temporal prepositions, you're going to hear some examples, which will also be written down for you. So if you don't have a pen and paper, put me on pause, go and find one, and then let's get started. All right, so the temporal prepositions I'm going to talk to you about today, the first one is a. So this one is pretty easy. It doesn't tend to give English speakers too much trouble because it translates, well, can mean many different things. You probably know that by now. Sometimes it means at, sometimes it means to, sometimes it means in. Here, right now, it means at, all right? Because we're talking about the time at which something happens. You'll see an example in a few minutes, all right? The next one we're going to talk about is en. So en, we're going to use it when we're talking about the actual duration of time that it takes to do something. The next one is dans. We're going to use dans when we're talking about the amount of time before an event actually begins. Depuis, when you look up depuis in the dictionary, maybe you've done that before because we see this word depuis a lot, you see the word since. So depuis actually means since, and when we say a sentence using since, when we're talking about the amount of time that we've been doing something, we might say something like, oh, I've been studying French on my own, on the internet, whatever, with Jennifer. I've been studying French since last year. It's actually easier in French because we're going to use depuis when we're talking about the duration of something that's still going on. So it's still going on in the present, which means our verb is going to remain in the present tense en français. So that's really something that's easier in French than it is in English. So count your blessings. When that happens, you write it down and you use it all the time. All right, the last one we're going to talk about, and maybe I should have made this the first one because it really creates problems for English speakers a lot of times. You're going to use pendant when you're talking about the entire duration of an action. So we English speakers, when we're learning French, we're very tempted to use the word pour. An example, just in English. If I were to say, oh, I've been studying French for a year. Okay, fine. So we look up the word for in the dictionary, and what do we find? We certainly don't find pendant. We find the word pour, but that's not how you say it. All right? You have to use the preposition pendant when you're talking about the entire duration of an action. Voilà. So are you ready for some examples? If you are, then I'm going to introduce to you Francois. Come on in, Francois. And he's going to go
Bonjour les amis.
He's going to go through some examples with you. And so again, if you don't have your pen and paper, put us on pause and come right back and you'll see the examples.
Couple of examples to illustrate what Jennifer was just talking to you about. So the first preposition, à. J'arrive en cours de français à 8h30. So I get to my French class at 8:30. Okay? It's at 8:30. So generally, at will be translated with the preposition à in French anyway. Je traverse le campus en 5 minutes. I cross campus in 5 minutes. So here the duration of time is indicated by en. It takes me 5 minutes. En 5 minutes. Also, en hiver, le campus est couvert de neige. So in winter, it's a longer period of time. In winter, campus is blanketed with snow. Same thing. En janvier, je vais passer un examen. In January, I will take an exam. Or, en 2016, j'irai étudier en France. In 2016, I will go and study in France. Okay, hopefully you will. Then the next preposition, the preposition dans. Okay, so the example is mon cours de français commence sur Skype. Mon cours de français sur Skype commence dans 5 minutes. Dans 5 minutes. I have 5 minutes to get to my class. Okay, my French class on Skype is going to start in 5 minutes. Donc 5 minutes. And then the famous since. So if you want to say, I've been studying French since 2014, j'étudie le français depuis 2014. Okay, I started in 2014. And then finally, the preposition pendant. Hier soir, j'ai révisé pendant 2 heures. Last night, I worked or I studied for 2 hours. So watch out, don't translate it by pour in this particular example. I think, Jennifer, you talked to those guys about this earlier. Okay, so hopefully you can use this in your classes or in your conversations with French people. And don't hesitate to put some comments and questions or whatnot in the comments.
Yeah, and you know that pendant, when he was talking about hier soir, j'ai révisé pendant 2 heures.
Ouais.
You hear French people doing that. When French people are speaking English, maybe people who don't speak super well, and you might hear French people say, oh yeah, I studied during 2 hours. If you look up that word pendant in the dictionary, it's going to say during. So that's why they do that. Voilà. Right?
Super, merci Jennifer.
All right, so keep in mind that we give French lessons on Skype. That's what we do in addition to making these little videos to help you out. So if you ever want to take classes with either of us, then just contact us. Just click down there at the bottom and it'll take you right to our website. D'accord?
Merci.
Ok, merci, à bientôt, au revoir.